Hi everyone, this is Evelyn. It's 4:06 on the clock, which is the 4 and the 6 coming up again with the space between. The 4 is the L1 and the 6 is representative of the golden mean, the shape of the shell, the rose, the butterfly, the vortex. And the L is the right angle of the 1, unity consciousness. So today is the 15th of February 2022, and a lot of information came up with Metatron today from my Big Bird card that I was talking about. So we'll get into that in a second. Very important regarding the toroidal field and explaining how the twin flames work. It all comes into the same energy. So that's important information that came through today. So stay tuned if you can. I have a general read for you too for the twin flames on the table. I'm going to roll the die. So the 15 today is the devil or the shadow side, and the day adds up to 23, which is the King of Wands, the man of passion, who perhaps may be a little bit off balance today or a little bit too much passion. And let's roll the die and see what comes up first for the twins. And we have Uranus here, which is about sudden changes, and Aquarius. And then we have Pisces, which is very significant because that's like a picture of the toroidal field at the 0 point. Okay, and remember that picture because that's very instrumental in the message today. And then we have the number 1, which is of course about unity consciousness. It's the 1 of the divine masculine. It is the 1 of the magician, which is also Gemini and Virgo. I get for the magician too, Aries sometimes. So we have basically though Gemini, Pisces, and Aquarius. Very air-oriented with a bit of a shift there, stepping into the other world. And very masculine energy at the same time. So let's see where this goes. I have this is the Metatron read. And the way I put it out is the underlying energies. This is the bottom of the deck, and these are below that. So this is the underlying energies here. I deal it out across, and then these cards, and then these cards vary from read to read depending on how many cards I'm supposed to pull. And they wanted me to pull these extra cards too. This is kind of like a PS to the letter. So it's kind of an after message. All right, so let's get into the Metatron read. Okay, we have a lot of passion here with the devil and the King of Wands. There's that could be a lot of sexual energy, a lot of get up and go to do things that may not be in your highest good, or just feeling, again, over imbalanced in the passion department today. And that can be creativity, growth, any of those energies. So the underlying energy was the green card, which is all about heart healing, and the emerald color. We had blue, green, indigo, lilac, gold, and yellow today. And what are we missing here? We don't have orange. We have green, blue, indigo, and we have lilac up top. So really it's the orange that's missing. So that's a key today. And orange is all about that sexual energy that I just brought up and the creative energy. So the first card out was conquering your fears and achieving your dreams as well. And we have air as far as the elements in the read today. So again, I just said we have a lot of air coming up in the dice. So let's see where this goes. The underlying energy was at 10:54. The read was pulled at 10:38 to 39, which is the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups. And the 10, of course, being the Wheel of Fortune and a turn for the better, that high vibration of the 1-0 trill. And then at 10:54, which 54 is the Page of Swords, the message, the underlying energy was the mothering energy of being present to gifts, whether you're giving gifts or expanding your own gifts, holding space when you're feeling blue, and holding your knowingness as well, and letting go of the control, right? Because fear is a lot about wanting to control your situation. The time for release around the blue and green, being light as a feather, in heartfelt, or from blue to green, the throat chakra and the heart chakra, heartfelt communication, and allowing the fall into your heart. Present to or mothering for the Emperor and the Knight of Cups healing here. The Emperor must relinquish control to receive mother and child healing. And this can be between him and his mother or him and his child, but it's that kind of energy coming up. So here we go into my Big Bird message. And for those of you who watch, you know that the Big Bird card from the Metatron deck is what the birds told me one day I look like to them. So this is very much, this first whole message is about the Big Bird card and how that came up is a big message here. So again, conquering fears of healing in dreams with help from the angels, taking one step at a time, prioritizing with the Queen of Swords. You know, she's kind of a get down to business person, taking care of some of your 3D responsibilities. I just had to make an appointment for my car inspection, things like that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to do. And then the Big Bird card came up, which is this card here. So and I'll put that on the tag most likely with my notes, because this is a very significant message here. So this Big Bird card is like the birds seeing us as like them, except much bigger, and they see this big triangle, you know, array of rainbow colors with wings, with golden wings. And it looks very much like the toroidal field in this card, right, with the energy coming out the bottom and the top, okay? So conquering your fears of healing in dreams with help from your angels, taking one step at a time, which has to do with being patient, prioritizing with the Queen of Swords and Big Bird. And with Big Bird and the Bibi Netanyahu is also coming up right here. And also the Netanyahu who's actually babysat for us when we were little, so babysitter was also coming up. So that BB energy. But remember that the capital B is also the 1 and the 3 mushed together. So here the 13 of the Death card was coming up, which is transformation and endings. The 1313, which if you reflect that, is the IE. And it also leads into the rolling stone of the 3 and the E and the M and the W. It's all the same shape, it's just rolling like a stone. So the 1313 can also be written as 1133. And the IE can be written as 11EE, which I've been talking a lot about the energetic exchange of the E and the E, where the E falls apart to become 1 and 3 lines across, which means literally 1 is equal and congruent to something else, which is what the twins are gearing themselves toward, right? Being sovereign beings standing side by side, right? Because you share an etheric field, but not your physical field. You're two sovereign beings sharing one etheric field, being able to be sovereign in your own energy and yet being one at the same time. The rolling stone is the EM3W, the same shape that keeps rolling. The EE of the energetic exchange, the 3-3 of the Christ consciousness, the unity consciousness. The MM is the Mary Magdalene, and the WW of the wounded warrior, Jesus on the cross, which is the template of the twin flames. So we have 13 and 13 from Big Bird, of the BB, going into the IE, which is referencing something. So we have the 11 again, and I just brought this up yesterday regarding the L. So the capital L is the right angle, right? Seeing in the right perspective or a new perspective, but it's also L is EL as well, like Elohim. And it also, as it came up in a stream of definitions yesterday, the day before, that L and the capital L equals also the 11 and the 6 lines stacked on top of each other, which is also the EE ultimately. The 1 3 lines and 1 3 lines equals 11 plus the 6 lines down. So it all comes up to be the same thing. So that's coming back in here with the rolling stone, the 11 going into the 33, which is then also the EE, the MM, and the WW, which is also, if you put the 2 E's back to back, which is the 3 and the E of the rolling stone, when they're back to back in their curved form, because no lines are actually straight, it's just energy from point to point, which is always in a curve. We just don't see that because we're in a very small portion of that curve. So it looks straight to us. So again, here's the picture of all that, and here is that toroidal field, the center of the 2 circles, like the apple, and the core in the middle, and that's the quantum leap, the 0 point right there, where the energy goes up and down, except on Earth we have gravity, so like the apple, it's cut off at the bottom because we're grounded, and it expands out the top. So again, we have the curved 3 and the curved E back to back becomes that toroidal field, or the symbol of Pisces. And then the M, I'm just showing you the rolling stone, the 3, the E, the M, and the W. And there again is the toroidal field. But it's not actually a straight line across either, because no lines are straight. So then it's 2 lines that are curved, which then becomes like a curved X, which is also the picture of a chromosome, okay? And those C's are the shape of an oval, which is the ellipsis, which is also the shape of the whispering bench. So if you put 2 whispering benches back to back, along with the chromosome ladder, that now, going up to 12 strands, is now a stent instead of a ladder, twisting and shifting at 0 point, field. Then field is broken down into Fi, which is the phi energy of expanding and contracting, or staying in the middle, reflecting, the L in the middle, which is that space between, and the L was coming up also between the end of the deck and the beginning of Do, Re, Mi, right? So from the ending and the beginning, the space between is the L again. And then the D, which is a line with a whispering bench attached to it, right? That backward C. So it literally comes up as this line here, which I'm going to show you so you have a visual of it. Here's the field of phi is the same as PHI of the phi and the golden mean. L, which is also the capital L of the right angle, seeing things from another perspective. The D, which is a line, and the whispering bench there, the backward C, or a forward C is the whispering bench as well. Expanding and contracting in the L, or the L, the right angle, or the 11, these are all the same definition. The 6 lines across, stacked on top of each other, equals the E, which is 1. This equals the 1 and the 3 lines down, so 2 of these becomes 11 plus 2 sets of 3 lines, which equals the 6 lines over here. But remember that 3 lines also equals equal and congruent to. So the energetic exchange of EE is literally the 2 twins standing side by side being equal and congruent to each other. So there's the 3-3, the MM, the WW, the EE of the rolling stone, and if you put the 3 and the E back to back, it becomes the toroidal field, the core in the middle of the apple, okay, with the whispering benches and the line in the middle, which also equals the bull and the conch shell, because the Taurus comes up as the energy of the centaur as well here. The Taurus is what I showed you, the Pisces symbol, which equals the centaur, right? The horse, half man, which I always bring up Saggy and Mr. Ed as the source energy, because Sagittarius is very much an expansive energy. And it also equals because Sen means torch or flame, and then Tor is the bull, or the conch shell, which again brings in the golden mean, so they all mean the same thing. The conch shell is that shape of that golden mean, which is in everything in life. So all these things mean the same thing is what it's getting at. No matter how you go into different definitions, they all lead back to the same thing, which is the same thing of that 0 point energy, like the Mercedes symbol of the 3 lines. You know, it's like looking at the top of a pyramid where all 3 lines come to one point where all roads lead home to source. So the centaur, or the half man, half horse, is the torch and the bull. It's also exception and without, so something outside of yourself. It's also the change. This is SEN, sen, or excuse me, the sen, yeah, SECEN rather, I'm sorry. It means torch or flame for me, except it means without. It also means change or shift, transition, scale, and slough. And then the tor of the bull and the conch shell, which is also then the golden mean and the whispering instrument, the vehicle of infiltration, ascension, and the human embodiment of source, which is the 0 symbol for me. The bull of BULL is then the B, the capital B is the 1 and the 3 of the transition or death card, and then the U is the Holy Grail, and then the 11 of the alignment. The transition or death, or half of the Taurus, right, because the number 3 here in a curved sense, is only half of the torus, right? It's only half of this symbol here. It's not the other half. So we have half of the torus plus the Holy Grail, the U or the cup, and then the 11 of alignment. Transition or death are half of that torus, which also means elevation or swelling or protuberance, which is the product of the circles. Remember, the apple is the two circles with the core in the middle, right? Expanding energy, exploding upward and imploding downward. It also is the same thing as the donut, but that's a different perspective. The donut is seeing the apple from the top. So I'll give you a picture of that in a second as well. So the circles are two human embodiments of source, right? Because the circle, remember, for me is a symbol of the human embodying source energy. So when you put the two circles together and making the apple or the toroidal field, that is where the flowering happens when you bring the two together. And remember, inner tube, right? Because that donut shape that you see the apple as from the top can also be an inner tube, or it can be a donut, or it can be a bagel. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's still that tube that's hollow on the inside, right? Of energy, though, here. And then from the side, the reason why you see two circles is because you're literally seeing the circle of the shape of the inner tube from side to side. If you were to take the outside of the tube off, that's what you're seeing. So where the flowering happens, where two meet together or back to back, one doesn't happen without the other half or the complement to it. Big Bird here, that picture I showed you, is the whole package. They're self-sustaining. The IG of Big Bird, BB. So BIG is the IG of I, God, and the bird is the BIRD, which is IRD, road or path. I, God, I am the path. I am the big bird. A big, yellow, kind, happy, and one who helps children and adults alike. And remember, the inner tube is the tube of 2B, and the inner is the in, like the happiness hotel, and the ER of the emergency room, the happiness hotel of urgency to just be, the inner tube. And Big Bird is that big, yellow, kind, happy guy who helps children and adults alike. You cannot seal a circle without the other half, right? You have to have two halves. You can't just have one to make a circle. And a circle is actually not a circle. It's an ever-moving coil of energy with space between, the wind beneath your wings. Remember, the torus equals the Pisces symbol, but Taurus equals the bull, B-U-L-L, which is the 13 of transition, the U of the Holy Grail, and the 11 of alignment, or perhaps capital L's, two right angles, or transition of the Holy Grail by alignment or reflection, or two right angles, or two angels, seeing new perspectives, or two 90-degree angles in the Crazy 8 dance that equal 98 degrees times 2, crossing and twisting and shifting and dancing, and then becoming, again, the 8, which is the toroidal field. And you notice how this 8 is made up of the X, or the dancing crazy 8s in the middle, and two whispering benches, which also, if you turn it on the side, look like two ears with the X between, which can represent the third eye as well. So this is what chromosomes look like, like the DNA ladder crossing over and twisting. And again, the DNA ladder in between the two whispering benches, or the ears. So the X of the chromosome between the two ears and the whispering bench, which also represents the 8 on its side, which is infinity and beyond, or the 0-point field being in between your ears at 0 point. At 1128, which is 11 of alignment, 28 of the twin flames, and that choice of path, two open ellipses. Because remember, an ellipsis is an oval, and a whispering bench is a C that's an open oval. It's not a circle, it's an ellipsis. It's more oval shape. So two open ellipses with ellipsis, the dot, 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 between, or space between, and another two ellipses, and so on, becomes the atom, right? Because the atom is the 3-ring circus. They're 3 ovals. They're 3 ellipses. And when you put them all together, and these are little drawings I had written at the top too, so you see the energy of the donut shape from the side, but it looks like this from the top, right, in a full circle. But here is the three-ring circus of the atom, right, the three ovals, and then here is the tube, but you see it from the side like an apple. Here's the stem at the top and then at the bottom. So Big Bird, and it's showing you too, when I put the toroidal field together and I expand the chromosome in the middle here, it curves over, so then it makes a leaf, which then makes the same shape as the chromosome that I drew on the other page. And this is actually the toroidal field with the line or the quantum leap at the center point right there, which is 0-point field. So it sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just, remember, you're looking at an apple when you're looking at the toroidal field. From one view is from the top, and it looks like a donut or an inner tube. And then from the side, it looks like an apple with two circles in the core between. So Big Bird comes into this. And remember, this picture looks very much like that, right? With the two whispering benches, like the wings. And here's the core in the middle of the apple. Okay. So Big Bird here equals all that is. Hearing with your ears or hearting with your hearts. The two ears with the X between, or perhaps the infinity symbol detached with an X and two ears or two C's facing each other, or hearting or arting with your heart as the toroidal field, that Pisces symbol. It just takes a plus and an eighth shift to the L of the right angle for, remember, L is for left and R is for right. So it's literally writing to the left right degree angle for the right angle to the X, right? So the plus sign just needs to make that 1/8 of a shift, right? If it makes a quarter shift, it just becomes another plus sign. But it has to shift 1/8 of a turn from the plus sign to the X sign, right? To do that crazy 8 dance. And again, here's that right angle of the L. For the right angle to the X, making that 8th turn to dance, the two twins dancing, and then chills multiplying, because now you have the multiplier, to lose control. An 8th shift to the left for a right angle, or a right perspective, to the X, in the chromosome, which is the shape of the X. Or chromosomes also coming up as chromium, and then the 0 and some. Chrome also means color. So to color some, but with space between. But don't forget the whispering benches back to back to create the flower from the space between the two circles, or rather energy coils, because we just said that there are no such thing as real circles, because they're all just energy going on and on and on. The whole thing about the toroidal field and the cyclone is that when you look into it, it keeps repeating the same pattern over and over and over again, no matter how far into the cone you go. It keeps looking like the same pattern. And then now we're going from the ladder of the 2-strand DNA to what looks like a stent or a cannoli. And this is just the donut cut in half, okay? But that's the 12 strands as opposed to the 2-strand ladder, okay? So this is the torus as well. It's the patterns repeat themselves all throughout nature. There's nothing wrong with patterns. It's just we want the positive patterns that help us and don't hurt us. So the curved stents in the 12-strand DNA, no more chutes and ladders, but cannolis and stents. And stents breaks out into ST, which is the path or street, and then ENTS means floor function, or giant, or talking tree. To empty or pour yourself on me. To graft, entity, body, or corporation, ... which is the ellipsis, and then ... Exactly. The path of enlightenment is through the ear, nose, and throat, not the eye and eye. For the floor function of the giant talking tree, or Big Bird, is to pour yourself on me, become one without believing your eyes. And that was at 1144, which is alignment in the 44 of grounding, integrating, and mastering love, but it's also the energy of Atlas in the sense of being a social worker, you know, being able to carry that weight of the world upon your shoulders, but not looking with your eyes, right? Looking with your soul, with your feeling, with your ears, right? With sound, right? Because your eyes can lie to you. That what you're seeing here is too big for your eyes. It's like the Grand Canyon, where you walk up to the Grand Canyon and your eyes just can't take it all in at once because it's so overwhelming. You must close your eyes to hear, smell, and feel, to sound the magic. Hello, right? The echo, hello, as your message in your bottle, your body or instrument, your avatar, or the conch shell that reverberates throughout the multi-universe, all right? So the universe and the multiverse, but one verse at a time, starting with universe. One verse at a time, one universe at a time, to become the multiverse, which is the goal here, is for us to get along with each other on Earth so that we can then expand to get along with other beings. So the ellipses, or the donut, the inner tube, the whispering bench, and the canoe is the same thing as the two apples of the two circles of the apple of energy inside the inner tube with the ellipsis. So here's the picture of the inner tube, but it's also the apple with the two circles and the energy going through there. So then we go to the ellipsis of the atom, right? Because there's three ovals that come together. But if you add it from the other perspective, instead of three ovals, it becomes 6 circles, which is then like a flower. The 3-ring circus, the flower and the place of creation. 0 point field. And remember, field is the expansion and contraction with the space in the middle, the L, and then the D on the end, which is half of the toroidal field. It's the line upright that hasn't shifted an eighth yet, and the ear, or the whispering bench. Expanding and contracting are at the middle, reflecting the L, the right angle, or angel, of half of the equation before the shift, where then the 1, shifts an eighth a turn to do the dance, which is a turn. It's 2 at either end of the whispering bench who actually meet in the middle. Because remember, when you're on the whispering bench, you go to the ends of the bench to hear the other person on the other side, and then you can meet back in the middle. So again, here's that energy of the whispering bench here, right? And remember, the line means nothing. It's just energy. The 2 points are where the people are, right? So here's the whispering bench, 1 sitting on this end, 1 on this end. But because everything's curved, this line in the middle actually curves out to each end of the bench, making a flower shape, like we saw up here on top. It becomes a flower, which is also like the butterfly. Okay, and then when you bring the X to the middle here and bring the whispering benches to the end, again, we get that 8 again of infinity. And the 3-ring circus of the atom is really just it's like 3 sets of chromosomes. It's literally 3 sets of chromosomes together. So there's 3 toroidal fields. Right? You might have an X, but then there's another one in front and another in back. So it's actually 3 sets coming together, just like the atom. I know it's confusing, but if you can picture that. The point from which we create is that 0 point field coming to the middle of the whispering bench. And then if we have 2 whispering benches back to back, which is the way twins are told to align with each other, to sit back to back, to connect at that waist point, which is the solar plexus area or the navel area, which is where the energy connects between the twins, is what I'm being told. And then the point from which we create, then we have the 2 infinity symbols side by side. And I was getting this energy, right? So each one is a person in their infinity, or in their infinite ability to create. Connecting with another person, you then can make another toroidal field. That's where the toroidal field happens, where you have connection. Okay. So 2 crazy 8s back to back, holding hands crosswise, like Miss Mary Mack. And remember, that's been coming up for the past couple of weeks. by crossing your energy over, just like Miss Mary Mac, where you cross your arms and then you hit your legs and then you clap your hands, and then when you clap with the other person, you cross your hands crosswise. So that's important too, because that's going to come up in a minute. We're actually being told to hold hands crosswise, like don't grab their same hand, grab their opposite hand, because that's actually the same side of the body as yours. It was interesting that was coming up. So the two crazy eights sitting back to back, like the whispering benches in the toroidal field, holding hands crosswise, like Miss Mary Mac when facing each other, to entangle, or do-si-do, to dance, twist, and shift into each other to swap chromosomes. Two crazy eights swapping spit, trading DNA to contract a new creation, which is how babies are made, right? So they got each other's back when sitting back to back, when sharing ideas with other whispering benches. Two wings, remember, wings is W in GS, or two wings as one is two U's in God's, or in half, or to oil or anoint each other. Two giant big birds coming together that create exponentially, or in other words, raising the roof, or infinity and beyond, the unknown at 1225, which 0.125 is the eighth turn, so that's why that number is coming up. But 12 is the hanged man and 25 is the knight of wands, raising the roof to infinity and beyond. The grounder, right, the bottom of the apple, that's due to gravity, right? We're on Earth. We don't have the toroidal field where we have full expansion out one end and full expansion on the other, because we have gravity that's grounding us to the Earth so we don't fall off, right? So it's the same type of energy. Why we have one grounder and one flyer, because one is the support system, right, holding down the fort with gravity, while the other one can fly. The support system and the star taking turns or shifts, or shift work. So at 1227, Spirit's connecting with me with the hanging man and the ace of wands, which is that third energy, that passion, that new inspiration and creation. The angel or angle of the flyer helping with the little birdies. So the angel, or we're talking about the flyer right now, is taking time right now helping the little birdies, while Big Bird, the grounder, right, the giant, is holding down the fort with their golden wings. Two U's, or the Holy Grails, which, remember, the Holy Grail is the hole and the Y in the road, which is where all roads lead home, the 0 point. And Grails is God's rail, G rail. So God's rail at 0 point, anointing each other. In the QE2, which is the quantum energy, which is the twin flame push and pull, the QE2, and the Q with the line across the bottom of the Q is the quantum leap across the field. The quantum energy of push and pull with the two-eyed needle of the two circles of the torus in massive form, where the black hole that scientists don't understand, it doesn't work because, as Cryon says, Newton's second law does not work anymore, even though it's an absolute according to our scientists. It doesn't work anymore when you deal with nano and then things that are so giant that are out of our realm. So it stops working when things get too small or nano or too big for human comprehension. Just like seeing the Grand Canyon, it's beyond our eyes' comprehension to take in. Or when it's galantic is the word I was getting, proportion. Exponential or infinitum, or in other words, unknown, black, hidden, not seen, but can be heard and felt. So if you stop using your eyes and start using more your nose and your feelings and the mouth to track and figure it out, the figure 8 comes up here at 1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door to the old. The King of Wands is off balance here, number 23 in duality. Balance is needed as only half of the equation here. And the card with the King of Wands is the yin-yang symbol here, which you see, the yin-yang symbol looks like two fish or dolphins or whales, spooning. You see how they're literally an X coming together, but in a curve. And also, you're not seeing the other line of the 8, which is hidden behind, because you can only show one side at a time of the sine wave. But there's actually another sine wave equaling it out on the other side, but it's underneath this fish on top. So the yin-yang is the dark and light, half seen and half hidden. Two fish or dolphins or stents hugging, perhaps, perfectly fitting together where two paths cross. And then my gnat showed up again. Unforgettable, that's what you are. And this was at 12:38, which is the Hanging Man and the Queen of Cups. Or two sine waves in a circle, two humans or two homes. Or the number 8 in a circle, which is what I just showed you as the yin-yang symbol, with two paths or fractals on how to get home. Because not just one point home, right? Because in the yin-yang symbol, you have 2 points and 2 circles, showing where all points lead home. There's 2 ways of getting there, not just one in the middle. And there's a third energy there too. So where 2 paths cross, or 2 sine waves in a circle, 2 humans or homes, or the number 8 in a circle, which is 2 circles in a circle, with 2 paths or fractals on how to get there, or how to get home. Referencing that you must leave home in order to find your way home, which again is that push and pull energy of duality. At 12:41 is the Hanging Man and the Ace of Cups of new love, spiritual love, and self-love. The indigo is whole here and complete and connected to the stars of the mystery and mastery of life, able to see that castle in a cloud, or the Milky Way, where mother's milk clouds your way home, right? So that's why, dairy, even if, so for me, I eat dairy. I don't eat meat, but I eat dairy. So it's kind of a message to me that that energy of the DNA of another being clouds your way, because your energy is not purely your energy, because you're taking in other animals' DNA. So that's a message for everybody. But again, it's saying, able to see that castle on a cloud, or the Milky Way, the mother's milk clouds your way home to the purple moon, which is 0 point, and it's hard to see your path with clouds or another's DNA in the way. The Page of Swords message in a bottle, which is yours, that's you and your specific message, which is personal to you and no one else, is yours alone to the higher realms and magic. You are what you eat, food, thoughts, breath, sound, sight, and feelings, and what you wear, because that's part of what you feel on your body. Are you feeling free? Are you feeling restricted? Hermit, take action. There's movement needed here at 12:50, which is the Hanging Man, or hanging out, seeing new perspectives, and the 50 of emotional fulfillment of the 10 of Cups, or perhaps a happy family, where land meets sea, meets sky, meets I am. And that's where the inspiration comes from. Set boundaries daily of patience and balance and a higher love. And then I went to do a short meditation, and I immediately was seeing the shape of the cone. And the eyes and cones came up yesterday, the day before. And the shape of the cone, there's 2 different shapes they wanted you to see, right? So you can have this shape with the ellipsis or the oval top, and then you can have this one with the circle top. So it was showing me, if you draw these 2 things, this one looks like human eyes. This one with the ellipsis top looks like reptilian eyes. So you see the difference? Regular eyes and reptilian eyes, depending on that cone. So it was showing me the difference between the toroidal field, because we have gravity. So up in space, the toroidal field expands exponentially and implodes exponentially, right? Both ways. But since we're grounded on Earth with gravity, it's closed off on this side, which is the ellipsis, or the reptilian energy on the bottom of the apple, and the open energy at the top of the human energy connected to source. And again, we have that donut. I'm just showing you the donut of the toroidal field, and then the perspective here of the apple and the core in the middle, and you see the triangles going into the center point field, okay, which is where, the energy goes into the 0 point, which then explodes and implodes all at the same time. It's a push and pull. It's not just one direction. But at the bottom, we're grounded because of gravity, but in the top, the possibilities are unlimited. That's the infinite sign. So arcs and steeples then came up, And remember that arcs are 2 points and the energy between the 2 points. So a steeple is literally 2 arcs, okay? Because you have another break here, or another person. Bridges and wishbones, which, right, you can break them at more places because they have those, or maybe those joints are stronger, right, where they come together. But any which way, the chromosome comes up again of that X, which looks like the crazy eights, or an X made of 2 skinny eights is what a chromosome looks like. Take 2 arcs, which becomes the steeple, to direct your ship home. Now that gives you more direction because there's a point there, right? There's not much direction in an arc type doorway, but in the steeple doorway, it's pointing upward. But you need 2 different arcs to do that, or 2 different bridges, twin bridges. Bridges and wishbones. It takes 2 arcs to direct the ship home to the E tower, that energetic exchange of the toroidal field, which is also the E of the one equal and congruent to the other. You can etherically merge into one here, but on Earth, you are 2 separate bodies, equal and congruent to each other, side by side. The Knight of Cups, Emerald Heart, on the path to the castle of the E tower and the Queen of Cups, like Rapunzel in the tower. And ultimately, he's coming on path to the E tower, but also ultimately the central sun, looking for guidance on how to get up there, or illumination at 107, which is the Magician and the Chariot, which is all about the vehicle of ascension. So it's like the masculine energy on their way to the feminine to learn about how to get to that full illumination path with the key of the patient angel off the beaten path, taking 1 step at a time to that higher love. At 108 then is the Magician and the 8 of the dance of manifestation of creating your dreams, and the Knight of Cups, who found the key on their path to the Queen of Cups, who knows the direct path to the castle in a cloud, the purple moon, via the rainbow bridge, whether it's white or violet, because remember the rainbow is white. White encompasses all the colors, and so does violet. It's considered the same thing. Via the rainbow bridge, white or violet arc, the wind beneath your wings, 2 U's or holy grails, the holy Y in the road where all roads lead home, the G rail or the golden mean, the rose that perpetually repeats the pattern no matter how much you look into it, the rail, the never-ending story at the top of the E tower, which is also the penthouse, the castle in the sky, where the house of the pent, and pent means confinement, concealment, like the prison tower, the imprisonment in a pen, to hang, sag, droop, which is the opposite of the arc or the bridge, in a place not yet known, or a place that you can't fly away from, perhaps because you don't know how to fly yet. The ink is not yet written, being that this trap is also a pen. The ink is not yet written or expressed. It's all pent up in the pentagon or the pentagram, yet a place that few can go to at the same time, because you might have to jump or take a quantum giant leap without knowing how it turns out, and that is the leap of faith, right? So many of you have taken that leap of faith many times already on this journey, like leaving a job that you've been at a long time, or leaving a marriage that you're scared to leave because you don't know what might happen. You don't know if the other person wants to be with you or not. But it's about doing it for you, not for them, because you're listening to your higher guidance and you're knowing, and taking that leap of faith without having somebody else waiting for you at the other end, because you're in your knowing of trust and faith. If 2 abandon the home, then someone will come in and take it over, won't they? Or the government will come take it. But if at least 1 person holds down the fort, the other will always have a home to come back to. One's loving family is always aware of where they live to come to visit. If one abandons their post and another really loves them, they also will come searching for them, won't they? At 122, which is the Magician and the 22 of the Fool's Journey, with an open heart. A balanced one is always drawn to spend time to a place where they always feel accepted as they are, like Cheers. There's no judgment here. If you see someone as above you or below you, or who you think sees themselves as above or below you, you won't resonate with them because you are out of balance, and perhaps they are too. But if you're balanced, you will resonate or vibrate to what is also balanced and good for you at 128, accepting of themselves in each moment at 129, which is being present in the moment with the 28 of your twin flame. The collective awakening, the Mother Nature or the Empress here of abundance, and spring coming soon are all the elements of creation where flowers come together to grow and blossom, with a passion for life at 130, which is the Magician and union, and the Knight of Wands with the Empress's help moving towards the King of Cups, or learning how to master one's emotions, to help them detach from drama and look up. The King of Cups is sitting in a rainbow and doesn't even know it because they're looking down. The Emperor is letting go of the Mother to go inside into their own heart for their trust and faith, to not rely on the Mother. The Empress is on a journey to find their dreams. So this could be a releasing of someone too who has always lived somebody else's life and now wants to find their own dreams. And that can be a karmic partnership where someone leaves to now live their life instead. The Knight of Cups is coming towards the Queen of Cups because she is the light body connected to her own Queen of Swords, Big Bird, her grounder and her flyer. But the Knight of Cups gets there and then sinks into the Knight of Wands, and then becomes the King of Cups reversed because he's sad he couldn't master his emotions. The King of Cups look up to the Golden Gate, the 33 of the Christ and Unity consciousness, which has nothing to do with religion, it has to do with unity. Always invited, the bridge is always open to reconnect to Source even when you've disconnected. At Atlas 44, which is the weight of the world upon your shoulders, and you notice the 33 and 44 coming up again, which is my business name, and shine your light. So King of Cups, look up to the Golden Gate 33, always invited to reconnect to Source, and Atlas 44, and shine your light. And the 44 has to do with the grounding person, right? Because they're the one being the rock, the pillar of faith, so the other person can fly or do what they have to do while you stay grounded and shine their light. Or 3344, the twins and the flames, the flyer and the grounder, taking turns, going with the flow, 1 to 1, do-si-do, with space between, in aligning positions and taking turns, sharing responsibilities, but breaks as well. At 139 is the Magician and the 39 of the Knight of Cups. Paddle on in that canoe that's shaped like a whispering bench, or the part of the torus or inner tube that you can see, and let the universe carry you in that canoe down the salt river that has no chlorine, which is interesting. That came up in a movie last night where someone was allergic to chlorine, so they had a salt pool. And I was just out in Phoenix, which has the salt river. And also that's the Mary Magdalene baptism areas where the salt water meets the fresh water, and it comes together, right? So the salty and the non-salt come together. So let the universe carry you down the salt river with no chlorine, with the Ace of Cups, which is that self-love, spiritual love, and new love. The Holy Grail of the number 16, which is the Tower of sudden fill-up. You fill up my senses, come fill me again. So again, the sudden event or epiphany or sexual exchange between twins, and that cup of replenishment in sharing your light with others. In transition to the diamond light, and remember the diamond is Di and Amand, which is 2 almond eyes, flying free and breathing while the other takes over. Be authentic self even when you're tired and inspired. With the 46, which is the 4 and 6, leaving space for the 5 or the change between. And remember the 4 is the L of the right angle, and the 1 or unity consciousness, and the 6 representative of the golden mean. And the 90 degrees of unity. And the 6 degrees of separation. So the message that was coming up here, and remember the 369 here, that 6 for us is like the golden mean, right, where it goes into a circle here. But this is the 3D version of that, or the 4D actually version. It's not until you get to the 9 golden mean, where it's upside down this way, that's 5D, and unity consciousness, which is the 9 is more about compassion, right, and universal selflessness. The 3D and 4D is more about that 6 of love, because remember, 3D is ego, 4D is separation coming up here. It's the bridge, and that's why there's separation there. And then the 5D is the unity of 3, 6, and 9. The 1, 2, 3 of 3D, the 4, 5, 6 of 4D, and then the 7, 8, 9 of 5D. And then 5D is like a jump-off point to all the other dimensions. So again, the 6 is, or the 6, or the golden mean that has the circle on the bottom, is the 3D to 4D energy of love and God, because you are a human with ego. But then we go into the 9 of the 5D and above, where God and love are compassion and wisdom. So who are you? You are me, or you are ME, which is a mark, a sign, a trace, a trail, a track, or a footprint. Or in other words, a symbol that you were here. Akashic records and review, wise review to see new perspectives. Go to the Akashic records. So remember what I said yesterday, they were guiding us to first, when you go up to Akashic records, to use 8 golden steps. And before that, see the astral travel, or see the sky, see the stars, and then go up the 8 golden steps with your flame in a graduation robe of red and purple, right, which references your root to your crown overlay, with your ring and 3 keys too. And do this with your golden wings to astral travel and visit to the mushroom, or the room, the library, or the mushroom to kiss and hug. And white purification wings for your clarion call, or in other words, to speak to others outside of yourself. So use your golden wings to go within yourself, to connect with your twin and with the higher realms, and use your white wings to purify and connect outside of yourself. Mother Earth for grounding support when you want to fly, the ice cube, which translates into I see you be. And then the 18 of the purple moon, which is the same thing as 144, except the 44 is graduated up an octave to the 8, which is that smooth flow. Instead of a lap dance, it becomes the do-si-do. The 72 by 2 of the 144, collapsing all timelines into the purple moon of the 18. Earth in a box, remember the ball in a box, with the room at the corners there to expand, right? The ball can only expand at those corners, because otherwise the box is full. The golden mean is that gives you that picture where the cyclone, or the vortex, and the rose. Remember that a vortex looks like a rose from the top of the vortex. It looks like a butterfly from an oblique angle, and it looks like that shell. And also from the side, of course, looks like that cyclone. So again, the cyclone is the V of the core of the apple, the toroidal field, the torus, where you have the V, the hourglass energy, which is 2 V's, one on top of each other, just like the 2 pyramids, where the energy flows toward the 0 point in order to create, and that's where the implosion, explosion happens, all at the same time. But remember, we have gravity, so we have limits on the bottom and no limits on the top. On Earth, sometimes you are the grounding or gravity support, so the other can fly free. The Page of Cups is the evolution of birthing the new. In the umbilical cord, remember I said back to back of connecting with your twin, as the shaman with TP and peace pipes, or toilet paper and cleaning your pipes, offering thanksgiving to the busy carpenter bee who's pollinating flowers, or the collective awakening. Red roots of truth, and remember the truth is also the Ace of Swords, Excalibur, or the X's caliber, maybe cold, offers peace treaty. This could be an X offering a peace treaty to the magician who's pollinating joy and happiness here. The underlying energy is the mother and the emperor healing hearts with the Knight of Cups. And then conquering fears, the inner child asking their guides for help to clear the path to the new empress, right? Because the mother energy is going away, whether that's an actual mother or a partner who's acting like a mother, that's going away. And the new empress who flowers like the masculine or like the emperor. And then the second column was coming up as Big Bird of the purple moon with the Queen of Cups, perhaps Cancer energy, perhaps, or that's Mary Magdalene keeping the home fires burning, with the Knight of Wands, passionate love for life. And then the third column at 207, which is the High Priestess or the feminine, and the Seven of the Chariot, where the King of Wands is off balance because he gets too passionate. He leans on the Queen of Swords, Big Bird. And then the King of Wands gets over the Hermit running and ready to bridge or arc to the King of Cups to work on his emotions and in order to look up. Okay, so that is your Metatron read. So let's get into the Twin Flame read on the table, which I started in the wrong place, so I had to skip a bunch of pages. But that was done yesterday on the 14th. I cut the deck at 4:30, which is the Emperor and the Union. And then at 4:40, which again is that 4-4 with 0 backing it up, 44 being the grounding, integrating, and mastering of receiving of love, but also the Atlas energy in a social worker type of sense. F orbs came up here, which can be Forbes, but it also can be like F orbs, like you don't like it, because orbs is thoughts and words, but also blind men and orphans. But also the F is the Phi energy of expanding and contracting, or staying in the middle of that whispering bench and to reflect with each other. I finished clarifying at 4:54, which is the Emperor and the Page of Swords. And the major arcana that came up here were the Lovers. Oh, hold on one second, I forgot to plug in here. Let me plug this in so it doesn't die in the middle. Okay, so the major arcana is the Lovers, Higher Self, which is the High Priestess, Solar Deity, which is the Sun, the Star, Reflection, which is the Hermit, and the Tower. Before the read, Karma and the Wheel came up. Karma in this deck, the SIRIAN STARSEED deck, is Judgment. And then after the read, Strength and Transition, which is the Death card. So we have a lot of major arcana here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just in the main read, and then another 4 in the outlying cards. We had 2 Wands, 2 Swords, 1 Pentacle, and no Cups in the main cards, which is the emotion that the masculine needs to work on. And then we have the court cards of the Knight of Pentacles, which is the only court card in the read, and then the King of Swords after the read, the King of Pentacles before the read, along with the Sovereign or 9 of Pentacles. The numbers, we just had the crazy 8s coming up as far as dualistic numbers. There were no triples. So 2 8s, and the twins dancing between their masculine and feminine in order to come into that infinite energy of the infinity symbol, which is a union. And then we have 4 as one of the significant numbers of structure and the right angle of unity consciousness, and the 10 of that high vibration, just a reminder. So we have 45 of the 5 of Cups, 12 of the Hanging Man, 24 of the Queen of Wands, 58 of the 4 of Swords, the 5D connection between the twins, 89 of the Phi energy, and then 9, 10 begin again and again and again. Every time you expand, come back to center and heart and the now moment again. The code line here is all about love and love partnership, and it was broken down into low and VE, and then partner and our ship. And that'll be incorporated into the interpretations of the message. So the code line, all about love partnership, was with the number 8. And it translated as this: in a show of power to the nth degree, perhaps a TV ma, which can be someone you're watching on TV. Housewives can be coming up. Or the TV references your telepathic vision, your ability to see. And then Morocco is coming up again. So the show of power to the nth degree with your telepathic vision, or perhaps on a TV mother, that's good at our high vibe DNA, the Tower of Prison, right? So like the E Tower of Rapunzel, and the high anxiety or Jacob's Ladder. So the Tower becomes our love partnership, right? So there's fear incorporated in that. And then the word nith came up here, N-I-T-H, which is jealousy, envy, hostility, hatred, and a niece. So somebody's niece could be causing issues as well. So we have jealousy of hateful TV mother, after death ESP, or high vibe DNA, anxiety, prison. So the tower becomes, like I said, our love partnership. And that could be a karmic relationship as well, a codependency of jealousy and hostility and that kind of stuff, or perhaps a niece. Jealousy, the hostile niece of, perhaps this is something you're watching on TV, where the hostile niece of the TV ma, or the telepathic ma, who's good at our high anxiety release, so that the tower or sudden events, epiphanies, or sexual exchange, or the blowing of one's top, their cover, their crown, or their mind, becomes our low or low vibrational holy place of offering, our sacrifice, par to cut, or par for the course, in our ship, or mercy ship, or in other words, the way we get by. The niece also could be a telepathic person, after death ESP, or ESPR, in high vibe DNA or ladder release, so that the tower or sudden event, epiphany, or sexual exchange becomes the love partnership. So the first card in the underlying energy is the 8 of Wands. Okay, so the bottom card here is the 8 of Wands with the mini cards on top. And below that top card is the 9 of Pentacles upright, Karma upright, the Wheel reversed, the 2 of Pentacles reversed, and the King of Pentacles reversed. The Sovereign announcement or wake-up call, and downturn or twist of fate, dropping the ball or the act, or breaking patterns with the King of Pentacles reversed, in energetic exchange with good news, attention, or leading the way. The Queen of Cups reversed, in energetic exchange with a marriage, religion, establishment, or Taurus at 535, which is change and the wounded warrior, or the Hierophant and the wounded warrior. And that could be a Taurus for sure, since Taurus came up right there. So the Queen of Cups in energetic exchange with a marriage, religion, establishment, or Taurus, or dealing with societal norms, is out of options with the 10 of Cups family, or for emotional fulfillment. The Emperor with a third party offering love to stand up for himself, or for self-satisfaction, with the Magician reversed, feeling insecure or without tools to connect in 5D, or to manipulate a break from parent with Alzheimer's, or to come out about the energetic exchange. Insecure about 5D connection and being seen as crazy or not playing with a full deck, and protecting their sacred sexuality. Awake to let go and repair, to end the suffering in silence, or perhaps dealing with a sister or perhaps a niece, and work to align without being able to sleep, or just going with the flow instead at 544 instead of trying to control, which again is the Hierophant, or change in the 44 of boredom and apathy, or grounding, integrating, and mastering of love, especially receiving love. Religious factors came up here, which is any kind of differences, religion, culture, race, age, whatever it is. And then beneath that's children who are affecting your love relationship. So we have near-death experience, perhaps after a death, where you're just still recovering from it, or just dead tired, taking forever to end, pushing them out of bed for sexual exchange, or to express failings with the 10 of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community, and the King of Wands' great affections. Or so tired, or never woke up, or too tired for passion. This could be someone telling them they don't want to have sex, or someone who literally passed away in their sleep, which I certainly would like that to be the way I go out, right? So no, and I'm sorry if you lost someone, I don't mean that, but someone so tired, or someone who never woke up, or too tired, and this could be someone who's late for work too, who's not getting up in the morning, or too tired for passion with dysfunctional family or business or loss, and just wanting hugs instead, or tennis elbow for someone with their right arm, taking the mirror off the ceiling, or has to sleep on the sofa here, always sleeping with fruit all over the place. This could be someone leaving food out all over the place as well, or sleeping in the tree house to get away from the mirrors or against their religion. And then we have nature, which is 74, and even more so domestic harmony, which is 46, the children hugging each other. And then that was at 552, again the Hierophant and the Queen of Swords, which is Big Bird. Let nature take its course. So perhaps at 5:53, the Knight of Swords, unable to find a way out, needing strength, courage, or better health to present the truth, or triumph over weakness, ego, or Leo reversed, and the injustice of being left for dead with no one but Bambi to the rescue, and to start over in love at 5:55 once the dark birds are gone. In this underlying energy, there was Aquarius upright, Taurus, Aries, Capricorn upright, and then we had Libra, Gemini, Virgo, Capricorn again, and Scorpio and Leo all reversed. And when I say reversed, it can mean that those energies can be in their negative aspect, or they can have those energies in their chart, but it's not their sun sign. So you can read that both ways. Or someone fell on the steps and no one was there to help them, or lost in the forest, but only Bambi there and no one else. In a near-death experience, while still attached to the person and energetic exchange, perhaps seen as crazy or working to distract self from the King of Wands' affections and hoping nature takes its course in a grieving process at 5:59, which is the Hierophant and the Five of Swords, the enemy, or the war within. Rapunzel suffering in silence in that E-tower, in disconnect or distance from Libra or destiny. And the Page of Wands reversed, and this is still in the underlying energies, and then going forward here with the Page of Wands reversed, uninspired by Scrooge, or to let go of savings, or be broke, star, or healer, or no transportation or travel for dreams to come true. And the Knight of Swords upright rushing in with an idea, or to awaken with a delivery. The Two of Wands reversed is out of options, in deception or early morn, to start over in love, moving the Queen of Wands upright, lacking faith or embarrassed by new information, or the whole truth given to lover, making them weak, being dumped or overwhelmed with the Page of Cups message of love from sovereign King of Cups, or the King of Cups with two kids, the Page of Cups and an independent one, needing courage after lover gave the truth and then took off, or fell from grace, or on their face, with clarity about the truth of lovers. And Libra upright here in the underlying energies, and then Cancer reversed, Aquarius upright, Capricorn reversed, Cancer reversed, Aries reversed, Leo reversed, and Gemini upright here. And this was at 6:08, the lovers and the dance. So the higher self, happy with self and loving children, or soul tie, inner child connection, with lover King of Pentacles reversed, and the Page of Pentacles examining the injustice of a breakdown with the Knight of Swords. And the Page of Cups was coming up a lot in this read, and a lot recently. And in the Tarot of Sexual Magic, it's a negative energy. It's not a negative energy in the regular deck, but it is in the Tarot of Sexual Magic. It's about a child either feeling controlled or hurting themselves, right, to be perfect. It's negative energy, and it can be someone either manipulating someone else to do things to them that they wouldn't be comfortable with, or having things done to you that are not comfortable with, or doing it to yourself. So perhaps this Page of Pentacles is examining the injustice of a breakdown with the Knight of Swords, or a delivery that never came, with judgment, announcement, or wake-up call to release and moving away to find peace, with holding, saving, or playing hardball in the sunshine, or saving for vacation. And the foundation is the Knight of Pentacles upright, perhaps with a proposal or offer to help dark night out of a jam, to help get some sun or play with the kids, and expose all of embarrassing self in front of the King of Swords upright, or a means to an end, exposing the fall or lack of faith to the King of Swords. And now the lovers broke and falling short with the Knight of Swords delivery to the Queen of Wands post-war or post-virus, receiving stolen goods or perhaps stolen intel or property from the Queen of Swords reversed patient angel, or the Knight of Wands reversed and the Queen of Wands with PTSD or looting after the war, cheating or running away from the Queen of Swords reversed Sagittarius, or lovers burdened by Atlas with too much hard or heavy work or weight at 6:32, which is the lovers and the journey man, or the journey. So 1 second here. to the same time here. So 632 to 633. Okay. Sorry, this is where I started on the wrong pages, so I have to figure out where I continued. Okay, so at 633 is the Lovers and the Christ vibration, challenged by the Eight of Swords reversed, the release. And actually, let me show you this reading before I forget to. This is the read on the table. Okay. So the Eight of Swords reversed, release with good news, getting attention or implementing a plan to dump an inequitable relationship and break patterns. The Page of Wands reversed, very frustrated, unable to understand, perhaps dealing with a split, a lie, or divide, and the need for clarity about a breakup or disconnect or someone at a distance or distance of the past. The world is complete, the cycle is done, finally getting information out of them, right? They're finally opening up to find peace with the Queen of Swords reversed, obsession over cutting cords with Angel, Patient or Sagittarius post-war in the past, looking back, dumping emotional attachments and multiple loads, and the Death reversed of the King of Swords with soulmate or loving children, are no longer young and innocent and perhaps grieving your children. And now here is the Four of Wands reversed and the instability of the home in a downturn, of debt, inequity, or losing equity, or scammed in detoxing chaos and trying to keep your balls up in the air. With Pisces or Divine Feminine, the neighborhood of the world, healing and forgiving, with Libra and Capricorn reversed and Pisces upright here. Silenced and coming out about missing their flame, and the Knight of Pentacles flirting and showing off, and the Page of Swords messaging the High Priestess about Atlas information or clarity about a hard time, with Sovereign and taming the beast, with ill parent or going crazy and coming out, with the Page of Cups or a message of love, and the Leo strong-arming the boar, or narcissistic old man, or Taurus marriage, or religious leader, and the King of Swords expecting girls to service him, deception of the King of Cups, and uncomfortable with the wounded warrior surrendering and being released. Or Leo and Taurus with the King of Swords, uncomfortable expressing their emotions, and in the past. Soon here is the Sun upright, with sunshine and happiness and kids, pets, and vacation, exposure to healing and dreams of temptation, codependency and the ball and chain, or Capricorn waving with the Emperor, and the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community with dysfunction or loss, and the Queen of Pentacles dumping multiple loads or emotional attachments, no longer confused about convalescence and recovery. Uncomfortable healing with the Ten of Cups upright, who may be all happy or pretending to be so, with the Emperor spending on them. Twin flames seeing themselves as healing stars or moving to peace after standing up to the King of Wands by announcements, wake-up call, or calling them out. And the Knight of Cups offering love at work to the Empress reversed, who's implementing a plan, or in resting in sudden event, epiphany, or sexual exchange. Or in blowing the King of Wands' mind. And this could be a dark person, right? Someone who's trying to control. The Empress reversed, implementing a plan to be irresistible kind of energy, or trying to do something to get someone back is the energy I'm getting. This could be like trying to blow their mind sexually or something like that. But it's in a manipulation attempt. Let your friends help, engagement, and then codependency coming up here, as well as retreat and true love with 651, which is the Lovers and the King of Swords. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is reflection of the Hermit reversed, perhaps on a quest to get tools to manifest, or not put up with manipulators anymore, and the block being the Tower upright of sudden event or sudden changes, or sexual exchange and dumping multiple loads in 5D connection to recover from exile and feel better about self or heal at 653, which is the Lovers and the Knight of Swords. We get 54 is the Page of Swords in the message. The love partnership comes up here, but even more so is intuition and spirituality. And the movie Through My Window came up last night. Recovering with help, the Page of Pentacles upright, hurting themselves to try to be perfect. Or this could be a recovering alcoholic as well. The Ten of Swords reversed, where the worst is over, of bliss and surrendering to release with third-party bliss and dumping emotional attachments to never-ending story with the King of Swords upright and past life connection. Birthing through the Ring of Fire, breaking on through to the other side. In waves of flames, the King of Swords, perhaps dead tired after sexual exchange or sex, uncomfortable in surrendering and releasing, starting over in love and no longer bored, needing to surrender to the universe, the King of Pentacles reversed in energetic exchange or hours of love or just a lot of energy going back and forth with calls and travel, with the Knight of Pentacles upright proposing healing and dreams and coming out with the higher self, the lovers, and challenged by release of anxieties or prison time, with time in the sun, vacation, or exposure to sudden events, epiphanies, or sexual exchange, which can be destabilizing and yet blissful at the same time, in breaking through with a rebel yell, in waves of flames or grain, the King of Swords after death of flame, laughter and arousal, and the energetic exchange with higher self to start over in love. The Knight of Pentacles proposes lovers to move in together, perhaps, and challenged by a release from prison and or anxieties. The star healer, dreamer, or rock star exposure, coming out about losing their mind, blowing their top, their cover, their crown, and or their mind, in bliss with the tiger's eye on the prize fighter, the King of Swords, or sensei master, after death of passion or near-death experience, taking forever to end, or just too tired to get aroused, find humor, or just understand, at 7:05, the Chariot and the Hierophant, no longer bored or ignoring offers. The central energy was all about the lovers in energetic exchange of dreams, sunshine, and bliss. So let's pull a few oracle cards, see what comes up. Let's see what the, where are we? It's 11713, which is dreams and transition, just 1717. So dreams being fulfilled with the magician or magician embodiment, and it's 5:23 on the clock, which is the King of Wands and the Hierophant. So it could be a King of Wands with Taurus in their chart. So let's see what the Animal Spirit deck has to say post-read. What is our takeaway from all of this? And all the talk about the toroidal field and how that relates to the twin flames. Okay, the dolphin, this pure, beautiful energy of happiness and compassion. And there's the Phi in dolphin, defying words. This is such a beautiful energy, this card, the dolphin energy. And then we have the fox with their eye on the dolphin, perhaps their eye on the prize. And then there's the cobra. Remember, when the student is ready, the cobra comes as the teacher. But this is also representative of the Kundalini rising to the crown. And they got their eye on the prize. They're very focused. So are they. And the dolphin's happy-go-lucky. And maybe they're taking a fall. Okay? And then there's the peacock too. And the peacock in this deck is supposed to be an energy that's beautiful both within and without. And it's like these two are really super hyper focused on something here. Whereas like these two are not. They're more like, okay, whatever, we're good. And then we have the songbird here too. So this could be someone with that coloring, right? Or who likes to wear hats perhaps, or many hats perhaps. And then here's the songbird who's clearing with their voice, and that came up in the read as well. And this is about the awakening of the world, but this is a very pastel energy, which is a very sweet, innocent, or feminine energy of the songbird and clearing the air, right? So showing how fragile they are, that they could get hurt easily. So perhaps someone doesn't want to hurt their feelings. And then we have the deer here with them too. There you are, dear one. So the bottom of the deck here, with the fox and the dolphin, and the cobra coming in. When the student is ready, the teacher comes, and then maybe the teacher is the peacock songbird that comes in to teach the fox, perhaps, or the fox is leaving, and then the peacock's connecting with the dolphin there, because the nightingale is definitely the deer one over here. And then we have the bottom of the deck, which is the reflecting swans, so that's about union. And this is the trigger, right? The ego that comes in to trigger you. And that can be your reflection triggering you, right? Which is what twins do to each other until they are able to get past all that stuff and then stick. So let's see what the journey of love has for you today. By the way, the Lover's card is right in the middle of this read, upright. Okay, so from the journey of love, what is our takeaway today? Breathe. There we go, beauty. Someone needs their beauty rest. By the way, I slept really well last night because I didn't sleep the night before. 58 is the Four of Swords, which is the 5D connection, and the beauty rest here. And then we have the heart of the moment with the 16, which is the Tower. And we talked a lot about the Tower in this read, right? Rapunzel's Tower and the Tower of Epiphanies, right? So it can be, again, it's always both sides, bringing them to the middle, right? The really good and the really bad, and then making it more palatable as we go towards the middle. The heart of the moment, the beauty of the heart of the moment. And then we have the simplicity of the masculine, because that's the 4 of the Emperor. This is taking a rest or 5D connect in the heart of the moment with the Emperor, right? Who's got a very different perspective, right? There's the sad feminine, in her feelings, and here's the masculine being very simple, right? Very black and white. And then the feminine extending their grace. 17 is a dream come true. There's 2 more cards that want to be seen here. Or 3, sorry about that. The Sacred Convergence. So here's bringing in New York again. And here's her Grace. And Grace Kelly always comes up with that. She was East Coast energy. And then we have New York. I love New York is what I'm getting. And as I always say, this is always like the Twin Flame or the Twin Tower Memorial pushing up like a push pop for some ETs to project themselves and give a show. The Sacred Convergence of the Twin Flames being presented by, like Carol Merrill or something. And here we have the Twin Flame Convergence in the heart of a moment, an epiphany about the 5D connection, and the Emperor needing to lose his clothes or let go of control, right? So that's losing his clothes is being authentic to the world, completely naked to the world, and being authentic in her grace, presenting the Sacred Convergence of the heart fire. And here again, that the rose of the toroidal field of the cyclone when you see it from the top. And then there's that 0 point of the Christ unity consciousness in the middle, and the 1 of the magician embodiment and the divine masculine and their heart afire, and the hidden beauty, the 45 of the sadness, the grief of loss and regret, guilt and shame. Right? This is about, in the read, the King of Cups not being able to look up and see the rainbow and the sun around them. Right? To get past that. And the bottom of this deck is the Shakti energy of the, it's the masculine feminine. It's the Shakti energy of the sun. The feminine warrior within. So when the masculine's in his more feminine, soft side, that's where, again, the grounder comes in of the feminine, where she takes over so that he can find his way back to balance again. Okay, so what was the first card out? Beauty. We're going to read Beauty and the Dolphin. And they're both really beautiful. So the dolphin, of course, is water. Water. Where are you, water? Okay. By the way, the dolphin's after the swans, and they go kind of vibrationally from the lowest to the highest vibration in this book. So the dolphin is innately intelligent, healer, light, and blessings. The gift of the dolphin are beyond what our human mind can grasp. So again, we talked about that with the Grand Canyon, right? When it's so big that our human little minds can't grasp it because it's so much, like the information I may present at times, like today, the gift of the dolphin are beyond what our human mind can grasp. The dolphin personalities are often drawn to the healing arts, as they are sensitive to the subtle and enjoy working on the level of spirit. It's easier for dolphin types to underestimate the impact they make in the world. These creatures play such an important role in the wheel of karma that coming in contact with a dolphin type will change the entire course of your day and thus your life. This card can also indicate a profound blessing is on its way. When the dolphin's in balance, they're active, healer, strong spiritual practice, but when they're out of balance, they underestimate their own power. To bring back into balance, like-minded spirits. So perhaps reaching out to a friend who gets what you do. And then we have where did I put the other one? Oh, Beauty. It's 58. 58. So number 58 from the Journey of Love is Beauty. To celebrate the divine feminine is to honor her beauty, her endless bounty and abundant creativity. You are a vehicle of her beauty. This is radiance that has nothing to do with soul-destroying cultural stereotypes based on physical appearances. It is the radiance that comes from feeling beautiful within, of allowing all that you are to shine through you and be witnessed in the world. You're being asked to let the inner beauty become one with your physical self. You don't have to change the way you look to become more of the divine beauty that you are. You just need to change the way you look at yourself. Behold the divine within you. You're in the process of healing past wounds about your appearance, your body, and your sexuality. And remember, this is the feminine within everyone, not just the women. This is the men as well. You're in the process of healing past wounds about your appearance, your body, and your sexuality, finding purity in all of yourself, and becoming ready to share that with others in a deeper and more open way, without shame or self-criticism. Take your time and fall in love with what you are, and then you can become not the victim of others' own projected shame, but the love necessary for the shame of the world to heal. This oracle indicates a significant change in self-perception taking place within you, an ability to love and accept yourself more completely than you ever have before, quite simply because you have grown and there is more divinity awakened in your heart than ever before. The nature of the divine is love, and you are realizing that you don't have to change to be beautiful. Allow this development to grow swiftly and embrace your uniqueness, beloved. You're an exquisite flower in a heavenly garden. And the poem reads, How many times I've looked in your eyes and sailed away beyond my dreams to a sheltered thought on a quiet beach where the sand is soft as flour. You may never know this place, and someday, when you look in my eyes, I will tell you. I invite you to drink your water, get your beauty rest, your joy in your nature, and rise and be loved, guys. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to breathe. And so it is.